So you should hear recording as progress. Okay. All right. What do you guys got for me?
For the Earl Seas Foundation.
Well, y'all had wanted to meet with me. This final draft of your are you doing the project description or your needs? I'm trying to remember.
Project description is A, needs is B, we are C. So we
Oh,
are
okay.
goals and objectives.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that you're gonna need to maybe propose somebody need to develop them with Robert. Because it's the kind of thing that I mean we can come up stuff all we want, but they're the ones who are going to be operationalizing what the grant is. So and again, I mean I know I said this in the video, but you know it's a fairly simple project. I mean we're just trying to increase something. You're trying to get more fruits and vegetables. And so you know, so you want verbs that imply positive change in motion. You want increase produce distribution, expand the number of clients reached. And again, I'm not sure how they're going to measure it. You may want to reduce micronutrient malnutrition by through the increase of distribution of produce as well. And then objective again would be something specific. And I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not in any way saying this is what it should be, but the you know it could be by X date within 6 months the receipt of the funding, or by December or whatever. We will I don't know increase the amount of produce distributed to rural LD clients by X pounds, or you want to increase the number of clients served by Y people, or we want to increase the number of drops by Z pantry drops or stops or things like that as well. And again, thus the consultation with Robert. I mean, it's because I don't know what success to them is going to look like, how they're going to measure what they're doing. So we can have a great chat and come up with some different ideas, and maybe you guys want to come up with 2 or 3 different ideas. But you know, it's ultimately going to be the food bank staff who makes the decision, because you know there'll be the goal, which is the broad thing: increase, reduce, whatever. Specific, the smart, specific, measurable objective, right? It's specific, measurable, attainable, time bound, all those other things, as well. And then we'll have the evaluation, how you're going to figure out if you've done it or not, and then that's going to lead into the budget. So most of that, you got the need, is the problem. It's how we're going to address it. This is the way we're going to operationalize the project description so it fits the need, and then we're going to measure it, and then the budget should. So you should be able to look at the budget and see how you're going to get there.
I think as far as the objective goes, we're kind of limited on the approaches that we can take, because the food bank doesn't manage demographics of people served realistically, nor should they. But because of that, we need to focus on the metrics that they can provide to us that we can measure, which kind of blurs the line between, like, the same struggle we're dealing with. It's like we're gonna get food to the elderly populations, rural communities, but we're gonna get it through doing something for everyone. Essentially.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. That you're going to need to, and that's why I say consult with Robert. Yeah, it has to be something that they can control. And you're right, you can't control, things on the farther away from the agency you get, the harder things are to control, especially with rural kinds of programs as well. So I think you're definitely thinking along the right track there.
Right, because we're not going to get like diagnostic numbers of elderly folks in rural communities with micronutrient malnutrition. Like that would be the most direct metric, but That's
Yeah.
not something
Yeah.
we're gonna get.
Yeah, we're not gonna run around with blood tests or things like that.
Right.
As well. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But you might get it, you might again increase the number of people who are served, or and again, however they're gonna do it. And if I seem fuzzy, I don't know how they're I don't know how they're gonna do that. That's part of what we're learning. Every grant's brand new. Last year it was the building, so
I think number of drops might be most effective.
okay. Very well could be. And I would suggest, and this is just thinking off the top of my head, coming up with like several possible options
Right.
and letting him pick the ones that he thinks are the most reasonable, useful, things like that.
Okay. So the grand scheme of this is we create the draft, and then is that draft submitted to Robert via our quarterback, or is that something I should email to Mr. Morales?
Is your quarterback working pretty well? I mean, are you able to communicate with her? Or have you not done anything with her yet?
I haven't really needed a quarterback because I went to the tour with you, so that answered pretty much all of the questions that I had initially.
Okay. Well, the idea would be to get it to the quarterback, and then she get it
Okay.
to Robert. The only reason I'm a little fuzzy is because you actually went to the tour and you actually have a little bit of an acquaintance with Robert. But yeah, the best thing to do would be to get these banged out and get them to Robert quickly so he can make a selection. You can finalize things.
Okay, so the draft is what we'll send. We don't need his approval by Friday. We just need to have ideas for him by Friday.
Right. Yeah, and
Okay.
hopefully he'll make a selection. And he's been working pretty fast. I mean, like when I met with you guys to get your funder, I mean, he had the funder selected that afternoon. I mean, there wasn't a long turnaround.
Right.
So hopefully
I mean,
we'll continue that good stretch. That's a good streak. Yeah.
free labor, free money. I'm sure he's got all the
There-
time in the world for us.
Yeah, there you go. And I just realized I'm wearing a t-shirt that's got the service area for the food bank on it. I just realized that looking at myself in Zoom. I'm like, oh, well, you know what the service are. I can send you all a selfie. The service area is, but anyway, that's neither here
Actually,
nor
that
there.
would be great because I can't. They don't list on the CBFV like webpage the specific 11 counties that they service. They just say that there's 11 counties serviced.
Well, actually, they do, but it's on a rolling graphic that goes around and around, which is
I see.
so.
Maybe I'm not waiting long enough for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna see. Okay, I feel silly doing this, but
I mean, if it's on the left side, I'm sure I can find it if I'm more patient.
but okay. Yeah, I'm gonna I'll send this to y'all, and I'll see if I can drop it in the chat of this, and you'll let me know if you can do it. So you can see that, you can read it, I know this is exciting for watching me play with my phone here, but we'll see. It's got to go from my phone to university's email server, which of course is
Fantastic.
very rapid. Yeah. Although they have changed server systems since then. I had an email show up in 2009 that a student had sent in 2004. It's my personal record. I kept it for a long time because people didn't believe me. Eventually they went and took it off. I'm convinced they did that because they didn't want that to be heard. But, all right, here we go. So go to the desktop. Let me see if I can drop that in the chat. Y'all can see it. Yeah. Well, Is there a way to drop stuff in chat? I'm not seeing a button to do it.
Um,
You
You
know
can
what?
send a file.
yeah, you can send a file,
It's on
but
the
that would
very
have to be
bottom.
like on your computer already.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I see it. I see it right there. Yeah. I just. It's okay. Yeah, there it is. I know you all want to open it up and see if you can actually read that or not. Did I send it?
No.
Okay, so it's oh, never mind. Feel dumb. All right, there you go.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, can you read the counties?
Yeah, McMullen, Duval, Brooks, Kennedy, Craigburg, Nueces, Jim Wells.
Yeah, all right.
Perfect.
So you got that. I guess I'll send that to the whole class too. Send y'all my selfie here. Yeah. But this because that's an academic pursuit, I guess. Okay. I mean, I feel as if you all understand what's going on and what you need to do. I don't know if you've got other questions or thoughts. I realize Drake and I have been going back and forth, and Jonah and Kristen haven't had much of a chance to get in worse edgewise. So, what questions or thoughts or concerns do you have, Jonah and Kristen?
So right now we just need to submit a draft to Morales by Friday. We don't actually have to meet with him. Like, can we meet with him after Friday?
I don't think it's necessary. I mean, you can if you want to go out to the food bank and things like that. But we're trying to make it because I'm aware it's an online class and it's difficult. The food bank's pretty far away, and it's difficult for you all to coordinate that as well. I'm also going to try to, because we got multiple grants running with the food bank. I'm trying to not suck up all of Robert's time. But
okay,
you got a furry thing going across your screen there, Drake. Well, it's gone now. Kristen, do you have questions?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
yes.
Oh, sorry. I've been having issues with Teams the last few days. No, I'm good. Drake asked all the questions I was going to ask, and so did Jonah about like meeting with Robert and submitting a draft and essentially how we needed to go about things. So that was pretty much it for me. Was how we needed to go about doing this.
Okay,
That was it.
All right. Well, I mean, like I said, I feel like you guys are in good shape. You've hit all your marks and things like that, and seem to be communicating, getting the work done, and including Alyssa, even though her schedule isn't always compatible with us with the group meeting. So, thank you. Oh yes.
Sorry. So for today, what do you want us to submit for our thing today? Just ideas to submit to Robert.
I want you to write sample possible goals and objectives on the back of $100 bill. And no, I'm kidding. There's Alyssa. Hi. No, yeah, just make up some ideas for goals and objectives. I just want you to have the practice of thinking about what goals and objectives might look like. Just drafts for your own ideas you to share with me, and then I'll respond to them. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, and they might be the ones that get shared with Robert. They might be the ones that you all come up with. They might be something totally different. But again, just trying to get you to think, that particular way, because and I keep on saying it, but I'm really trying to get you all to get the whole class to see, need, problem, goals, objectives, measurement, budget, just to see that through line of logic there as well. So just practice. Right. Just okay. Like doing math homework, just practice. So. Hi, Alyssa. You got wise words for us?
Nope, just here, just listening.
Okay. if I may sum up the conversation, basically, the questions were asked, or what do we need to be doing this week? And the idea would be that you all come up with probably one goal, maybe, or some sample goals, but this, something like this would need one goal and one objective. It's a smaller part of a larger program that we're trying to expand through this grant. And the idea would be that you all would come up with some possible goals and objectives, or a possible goal, a possible objective, and then send them to Robert and see what he thinks. And of course, we don't know how they're going to measure success, and so that's why we need to come up with a range of, is it going to be more pounds? Is it going to be more people reached? Is it going to be more drops, meaning more frequency of visits, or more rural areas covered, or things like that as well. So the idea would be that, y'all do your homework, obviously, and post the stuff up, and y'all can look at each other's stuff and the other things that your group came up with. Because like last week, people put in some great research about the needs, and the needs group pulled the research that the whole class did together. So think of what everybody in your team says. Then, kind of collaborate together, come up with a couple of possible goals, 2-3 possible objectives, and then by the end of the week, submit them to Robert, and he'll decide, which ones are going to be the best ones to use. That's kind of where we're at. And Kristen was singing songs from Little Mermaid, but y'all missed that. So anyway. She wasn't. I'm just making that up, by the way. And I don't know if you have the chat or not, if you can see the previous chat, but I happen to be wearing a t-shirt that's got all the counties that the food bank served. So I dropped that in the chat there. Alyssa, if you can see that, if you need that data for any reason. So I think I'm going to email that to the whole class though. So anything else, folks?
No, I think that's it.
I think the goal is, it's one of those questions that's a little too simple. This type of questions, like it's too easy so you get it wrong, because the primary objective here is to distribute food, right? But if I look at the food bank's Find Food page, it says they distribute to nonprofit organizations or churches that have a purpose or mission statement related to the care and feeding of the ill, needy, or minor children. I mean, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In more or less words.
Yeah, and remember, goal is always verb that implies positive action, and then whatever it is going to be. Yeah. No, you're right. It's a pretty specific goal. It's going to be increase, expand, reduce. Although we talked about, we're probably not going to be able to do reducing because we can't measure what's being reduced.
I think it's most appropriate to approach this by like the expansion of these programs that are associated, like the pantries or the churches that the food bank is working with. We focus on expanding their reach as the goal.
Yeah.
Because eliminating or reducing hunger in the coastal bend sounds great, but is also quite lofty.
Well, just so you know that that's okay. Goals are supposed to be ambitious and probably not achievable in your lifetime. But it's trying to push in the right direction. And then you get into the very specific, the objectives are the ones that, where you're holding your feet to the fire. Okay, if I want to reduce or end hunger in the coastal bend, which we'll never do, obviously. You might, I might. I'm not going to live that long. But you're going to make a dent by doing these very specific activities within this time frame. So anyway. Because I think you guys are doing real well. I will hang out as long as you want, but I feel like y'all clearly understand what's going on and have a game plan. So
yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so.
All righty. Well, Alyssa, I don't know if you need it or not, but I did record this whole conversation. And once we're done, I'll upload the recording and I'll send it to everybody, but I'll have it so you can hear what was said if you need it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
All righty. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good one. Happy Valentine's Day.
And to
Happy
you.
Valentine's Day.
Right.